Good morning and welcome everybody to the Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday podcast. Hope you are all doing well. Coming to you from this Black Friday morning as people are out doing all the shoppings and everybody else is still asleep and in a turkey coma from all the things. Hope y'all are doing well. I hope there are things in your life that you are genuinely thankful for and Uh, I'm thankful for you and for y'all that take the time to listen to these things, to watch these things, to support faith and fandom in all the different ways. Thank you for being who you are and doing what you do. We'll jump into the news in just a little bit, as well as doing our Roll for Initiative Bible reading for the morning. But I hope you're doing good. And yeah, it's cold here. Um, Cold snap is heading in. We're going to have like 20-degree weather coming up. And so that's one thing. But, you know, it's North Carolina. We're used to the weather doing ridiculous things at any given point in time or history. But that being said, maybe up here, hang out with me. We'll go ahead and jump in on the news and get started on our day. There's no way that's going to last. He's going to fall over. Okie dokie. So, starting off with today's news. One of the bigger stories that emerged over the last week is that Donald Glover um, came out and announced on a at an event that last year he suffered a stroke and has a hole in his heart. Um, if you follow Donald Glover slash Childish Gambino through his exploits and things, he stopped his tour last year and canceled all the rest of his tour dates. Also, as well, amidst the time of that, the Mr. and Mrs. Smith series was not moving forward with season two with him. That it was going to be a different couple. One of the primary reasons is the fact that he has a hole in his heart and suffered a stroke. He even went on to say in one commentary I saw that he finished his set blind because the stroke left him temporarily blind in that capacity. One of the quotes he's gone on to say since coming out with all of this, which I'm happy he got to induct Outkast into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, by the way. Like after going through that, something like that, getting to induct, some of your heroes into the Hall of Fame is a good life moment. But he said that everybody's got two lives, and the second life begins when you realize you've only got one. And so he apparently is doing well, but obviously a hole in your heart and a stroke is going to change how your life moves. So I'm glad he's viable and functional right now for things. Matthew Lillard has praised Vincent D'Onofrio on Daredevil season two of Born Again, saying that just to get the chance to work with him was fantastic. He has such a weight to him and power. So looking forward to that. I think that's going to be pretty exciting. Tristan, good morning, man. Hope y'all are doing well. Uh, Wrestler slash writer AJ Lee, the wife of CM Punk, uh, is working with Toei Animation, the studio that makes Dragon Ball and a lot of other animes across the world, to create a new movie. She's working on writing a new movie with Toei Animation, so that's an interesting turn of events with that. A Far Cry series has been announced on FX. If you aren't familiar, Far Cry is an anthology action game where the one consistent thing is that you are a character that is dropped in a remote part of the world in isolation, and you've got to survive, but not only survive, you're going to liberate the people who are captured or under oppression in that area. Uh, I think the first two or three were just straight islands. Then one was on like a mountain in Nepal, and there was one in a redneck valley, and then there was one in like a South American crisis. Kelly, good morning, sir. Um, but a Far Cry series will officially be coming from FX, and it's coming from the people who made very important works so far to our cinematic history. But Rob Mack from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia will be starring in the first season. He'll also be producing it. So if you are a fan of Far Cry or It's Always Sunny or just good TV, actions and islands, it's basically be like White Lotus with guns. But White Lotus already has guns, but White Lotus with more guns and maybe some parasailing, but it also has parasailing. Either way, Far Cry it will be coming to FX. Uh, Seven Dust's Clint Lowry, who is a Rob not is a North Carolina native, part of our local area, says that this is his first album he's written as a Christian, as he was recently given his life to Christ, and his new album will be the first one written from the perspective of someone who has trusted in Christ. So that's pretty cool. And that just he made this commentary just a couple days ago. Um, he's on the currently they're on the Seven Dust is on the South Side Double Wide tour. Um, and he has spent a good amount of time on his tour um, talking about Jesus. Note they do note that not all the members of Seven Dust are Christians, but they are rolling with it together. Wendy's, if you ever needed a reason to love or hate Wendy's, this might be it. Wendy's is today cashing in on the middle school and high school vibes of the chronically quoted epidemic of the 6-7 thing that kids are doing. The 6-7. I really didn't want to do it, but I did it. So there you go. Wendy's is cashing in on the 6-7 trend and phenomenon by having today only for Black Friday Frosties for, you guessed it, 67 cents each. So there you go. If you want to give a middle schooler a chance to thrive, take them to the Wendy's drive-through and let them order a Frosty for 67 cents while it's 20 degrees outside. Uh, a former Pope mobile is being turned into a medical clinic for children in Gaza. It was a Pope mobile that the former Pope would ride around in, and that Cardinal Anders Arborelius of Stockholm stated that he was approached before his death about turning his Pope mobile into a medical clinic. So now, in the midst of all the conflict that's going on in the Gaza area, there is a bulletproof Pope mobile for kids to be able to get medical care at, which is sad that it needs to be bulletproof, but it makes a much bigger difference that it is. Um, The current run of Batman and Robin comics will come to an end with issue number 30. That will come out in February. So if you've been wanting to read these or if you wanted a chance to make a complete run, this book will be ending in February. And honestly, it probably should have ended a hot minute ago, like at 12. Switchfoot has officially signed a new record deal, which is interesting. Switchfoot signed a new record deal in partnership with BMG, but with By Design, uh, which is a whole record collective, and they're built to work together with artists, and they're doing a lot of really interesting things. And I'll say that even the By Design website was one of the most interesting to navigate. But Switchfoot is under a new record deal, so that is going to matter to me and the other couple thousand Switchfoot fans out there. Um, but yeah, that's good for them at this point, still switching. A if you're familiar with 50 Cent, you know that he hates P. Diddy. Um, that he hates Diddy like Drake hates Kendrick, except 50 Cent's not going to rap about it. He's just going to make memes. And apparently, the other thing he's going to do is release a full documentary on Diddy on Netflix. coming December 2nd, called Sean Combs: The Reckoning. And it is produced by 50 Cent, and it's coming to Netflix. Sean, not sorry, Sean, uh, Curtis 50 Cent uh, originally made jokes about this documentary happening by saying that it was going to be called Did He Do It? But now the actual Netflix made the music grown up title is Sean Combs: The Reckoning. So that will drop December 2nd. If that's something you're remotely interested in watching, I'm going to pass, but still. Um, Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter, and uh, there's a lot of descriptive terms for Conor McGregor, but we're going to keep going. Conor McGregor had a psychedelic drug-induced experience this past week in which he saw his own death and he met Jesus. So I'm just going to tell you what he says, that he was on a 36-hour psychedelic drug-induced treatment from a medical professional, air quotes, and that he saw his own death and he met Jesus, and that the experience has saved his life. So do with that as you will. Um, an AI platform uh called Suno. Hi, gang. Good morning. An AI platform called Suno, Suno, is making and publishing 7 million new songs every day. This is an AI generative music platform, and they're making songs faster than anybody could ever listen, but also making songs faster than anyone could sue. And the AI platform Suno is publishing 7 million new songs a day. This is equal to Spotify's entire catalog every 2 weeks. So AI is churning out more music than we could ever possibly make it through and listen to, and which just puts it in a place of like it's going so fast that it can't be litigated and also can't be appreciated. But it's a weird thing. Um, yeah. So Suno producing 7 million songs a week. Um, I have not watched Euphoria, but apparently Toby Wallace from Euphoria is a formidable actor, and Toby Wallace will be cast in Netflix's live action uh, Assassin's Creed series. And Tristan says, "What a waste of digital space." Yes. Now, not only is it a waste of digital space, one of the things that I've learned through one of my more socially conscious, environmentally fight the power friends is that AI is really bad for the environment, not just like in terms of digital space, like the amount of chemicals and processing stuff that has to be put out into the air for AI to be able to generate at the rate it generates is really bad for the environment. Um, and so every time you see AI taking over not just digital space, realize it's also affecting our real space. Um, yeah. Netflix is moving forward with a live action Assassin's Creed series, and Toby Wallace is the first actor cast in the new series. So look forward to that. A Robeson County business, which is Robeson County is where we live, or where I live. I don't know where y'all live, but Kelly lives there, and so does Gang. A Robeson County business is frustrated after some runaround with the Christmas parade that took place this past Saturday, and they're making national news with it because they are fighting it, and it's gotten some news coverage. But a horror a horror environment called Hallow Acres was accepted to be in the Christmas parade, filled out the paperwork, paid the things, and was told to be part of the Christmas parade. But then were told near the last minute that they weren't allowed to be in the Christmas parade because people didn't want them there, even though they had done everything legally correct. Um, But Athena Hux, who runs the event, her and her husband went to the Chamber of Commerce. They paid their $50 fee. Um, and they were upfront that it would not be fully Halloween themed, but it would rather embrace the Christmas spirit with a spooky twist. Actors dressed up with elves, a few of them having some bloody face paint, etc. But she said 48 hours before the parade would start, um, she was told by the chamber she couldn't do it. And so she was told by her attorneys to show up anyway and to record what happens. And she was recorded being removed by police from. Uh, you were asked by your daughter TJ to say hi to you. Hi, TJ. Um, and so yeah, there's a whole legal thing going on with that, and that's just local, and it made it to national news. So I was thought I'd share. Um, in Y'all, it's 20 degrees outside, and there's an ice cream truck going outside my house right now. Anyway, um, but in sad news, in terms of Christian entertainment, pop culture, and church ministry stuff across the board, Skit Guys, the famous Christian skit duo, is coming to an end after 30 years. Uh, and it's ending because the co-founder, Eddie James, has stepped down from the ministry and platform after admitting to a moral failure. Moral failure, you'll hear as a term for when a sinner sins, but they're in a big platform, and so it hits a little bit harder. Um, and here's the thing, I always hated the idea of a Christian as somebody in ministry being removed from ministry and using the term moral failure as why they're removed from ministry. Um, Now, if you want to say they sinned and they violated their leadership, that's fine, say that. I don't like the term of moral failure because all of us are moral failures from the get-go. We're, if you believe what Scripture teaches, you know that we're born sinners. As Paul states in Romans 7, we can't fight our own flesh and win. And that what Paul wants to do, he doesn't do, and the evil that he doesn't want to do, he keeps on doing. So the idea that you have somebody in ministry that's relieved from a position because of moral failure. Y'all, they were hired in moral failure. Every good thing they did for the gospel was done in moral failure. So if you want to say they're like fired because of sin, say that. But if saying that you're dismissing somebody because of moral failure says to me, at least, that up until that point that you thought they were moral successes, and none of us are moral successes. We're all moral failures. I even at one point in time I saw somebody else go through something related to this, and I wanted to start making a t-shirt that says moral failure on the front, or call an acoustic emo band moral failure. Either way, um i am I am empathetic and saddened at the loss of the group of skit guys, and I know that 30 years of ministry is a long time, and how that's going to impact their platform. And I wish them the best in the future. Um, and but the other dude from Skit Guys is going to be launching a new ministry. Tommy Woodward, because there was only two people in Skit Guys, James and Tommy. Um, Tommy Woodward is going to be launching a new ministry called 231 Collective, focused on free faith-based stories. Um, and he's asked supporters to pray for Eddie, for family, and for God to bring healing in a painful season. So there's that. Uh, Franklin Graham gave praise to the. If you're not familiar, Franklin Graham is part of Billy Graham's family, and he's one of the dudes that works with Samaritan's Purse. I know he's got other stuff that he does, but that's what I'm going to focus on. Franklin Graham gave praise to the 49ers quarterback, Brock Purdy, who wore his cleats for the Christian charity Samaritan's Purse on Monday night during his game against the Carolina Panthers. Um, the NFL allows My Cause, My Cleats, which is where NFL players can wear cleats that promote a nonprofit. And so Brock Purdy wore his cleats for Samaritan's Purse, which is the ministry that sends shoeboxes full of toys to kids all around the world at Christmas. Um, and he wore that promoting it as he absolutely decimated the Carolina Panthers. And we don't appreciate that, sir. I'm grateful for your charitable contributions with your shoes, but if you could lay off my freaking team, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Um, Another mass abduction did take place this past week in Nigeria. Um, a Catholic school um, had 300 students kidnapped in like full blown terrorism. 50 of those students managed to escape and return home, but there are still 253 children and 12 teachers are still missing. And this is one of the country's largest mass abductions. And if you've not been praying for what's going on in Nigeria, there's a lot. And a lot of people have died. It's very discouraging. And yeah, it's a rough situation there. Uh, Such a weird bounce between from shoes to abductions to this one. Kim Kardashian, which is phrases that don't get uttered too much on here. Kim Kardashian paid $80,000 to buy back her father's Bible, which at one point in time was given to O.J. Simpson. Um, Her father uh, had given uh, OJ the Bible a long time ago, her late father, Robert Kardashian. And so she bought the Bible back at 80 grand so that she could give it to her sister as a present. Imagine having $80,000 worth of Bible and still not joining. What's up? Hey, Jade Hart. All right. A lawsuit has been claimed against OpenAI by the family of Josh Enneking, 26-year-old, who, by the records and the text chains and everything else, show that his chat GPT coached him to suicide. That Joshua had been confiding in his OpenAI chat GPT for months about struggles and things that he was feeling and fears and anxieties and stuff like that. And that hit chat GPT um, told him and coached him to commit suicide. And so there is an open lawsuit against them in this process, which is one of those things that I think is terrifying in this whole thing. Uh, Robert Irwin won Dancing with the Stars in through this year's process and is bringing home a second mirror ball to the Australia Zoo because his sister, Bindi Irwin, won Dancing with the Stars 10 years ago exactly. So he went from holding his sister's mirror ball to having his own and promoting that. So congratulations to Robert Irwin. Carolina Panthers player Trayvon Mooring is suspended for one game after striking a 49ers player, Juan Jennings, wide receiver, in the groin area on Monday night. So I didn't see it and I haven't looked, and I'm not going to go back and find it, but that's happened. If you are in Fayetteville, North Carolina, there is a new store that has opened up called Bound and Vine. It is a bookstore that has opened up on Person Street. It's independent, and they say that every book in the store is chosen to inspire, empower, and transport you. And they have collections for dreamers, deep thinkers, and those seeking connection. And it's tight, little, cute space. Definitely, if you're a bookstore fan or you like reading, you should go check out Bound and Vine. The Lumbee tribe of North Carolina, a lot of local news in this one. The Lumbee tribe of North Carolina is launching a project Create. It's something that the tribe calls a transformative initiative, and it is funded through a Native Youth Community Project grant from the Department of Education, and where they have received $3.7 million for this youth education grant. So congratulations, Lumbee tribe. Stranger Things dropped on Wednesday night on Netflix and immediately crashed Netflix. You could use other parts of Netflix, but you couldn't stream Stranger Things when it dropped. And it's the only series to crash Netflix twice. And it's the only series to have 4 seasons of a TV show in the top shows at the same time. So, Stranger Things season 4 or 5 dropped with that. There are 4 episodes available, running just about 4.5 hours of content. Watched it. It's good. Lots of twists and turns, lots of stuff that I predicted, but it's cool. Good talk. Let's see. Guy Fieri is recovering after being rushed to a hospital in a freak accident while filming a show for Food Network. Now, if I tell you that Guy Fieri was filming a show for Food Network and was rushed to the hospital because of an accident, what do you think? Because when I was starting to read this headline, I'm like, oh no, there was a fire, there was a cut, there was a burn, there's an explosion, something like that, right? That's a normal thought that you would think if you were filming a Food Network show and you're rushed to the hospital, it's something kitchen related. Yeah, yeah, cool, good talk. He missed an entire set of stairs walking in a building. Not laughing at that. It's just like of the things that could have been. He missed an entire set of stairs and tore his quad by landing on the stairs and had to have emergency surgery. So that's just kind of crazy that if Guy Fieri is going to end up in the hospital while filming a cooking show, it's not from the kitchen. It's because he missed an entire flight of stairs. And he's recovering well with that. Campbell Soup is facing backlash and struggle after a former employee, um, the vice president of the company, was insulting both the company's product and its customers, saying that they make trash food for poor people. You can watch the video of the former vice president and his responses to it. But Campbell's has officially released this employee and from their company, and has stood by the quality and the content of their food. Um, but I believe the quote that I saw said they make poop food for poor people. He said that no one eats this stuff. Just a rough statement to hear coming from your own company. Ubisoft has confirmed that it no longer plans to launch a second major Assassin's Creed Shadows expansion, something that would have previously been part of the game's now scrapped season pass, and that they are letting it go and they're trying to move on from Assassin's Creed Shadows as quick as possible. I'm gonna say this: I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Shadows. I really enjoyed Valkyrie, or not Valkyrie, but Valhalla. Shadows was great. The samurai storyline was good. I understand that people had beef. I understand that they like didn't enjoy certain aspects, but man, it was actually a good story, and I hate that it got rickrolled so hard, and it caused the cancellation of what would have been probably the most charged um, Assassin's Creed, which would have dealt with Confederacy, but that's officially been scrapped. So it is what it is. I did the 6-7 Frosties. Last week tonight with John Oliver helped raise over $1.5 million for PBS as it auctioned off a Bob Ross painting, The Cabin in the Sunset, um, and helped make that possible to fund PBS. Thank you, John Oliver. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 will return in January with the kickoff to the Culling game arc. Oh, Also, Netflix says we increased our bandwidth ahead of Stranger Things and it wasn't enough. So there's that. A new monument and artwork piece towards faith will be going up in England uh, as the Eternal Wall of Answered Prayer has begun construction. Um, this wall, which will feature over 1 million testimonies of answered prayer, is going up. It's been a vision that God gave the creator. It's a infinity loop made of 1 million bricks, and each will link to a testimony of answered prayer. So it's kind of crazy and cool that that's happening. It'll be a neat thing to see. Covered that one. Fuji's rapper, uh, Praz Michael, who's 40 or 53 years old, was sentenced to 14 years in jail for illegally funneling millions into Barack Obama's uh, re-election campaign in 2012. This isn't a political debate, not arguing over presidents or what they've done. I'm just saying this happened and it's been ruled in court. In fact, Leonardo DiCaprio testified in the trial, which just makes things even weirder. But the Fugees rapper is jailed for 14 years for illegally funding millions to a presidential reelection through overseas companies. Now, if you tell me a rapper is getting jailed, funneling money illegally through overseas companies to a presidential reelection is usually not the top of the list of things that I think a rapper's getting jailed for. Um, and it's crazy that it was the Fugees, that it's doing that. It was in just my mind. It's just a whole odd run of events. Uh, but he apparently orchestrated an illegal foreign lobbying scheme um, from but on behalf of fugitive Malaysian financier J.H.O. Low, that Michael obtained over $120 million from Joe and steered that money through straw donors to Obama's reelection. Crazy. Um, a Ukrainian refugee who fled war has now become the sumo champion of Japan. This is a Ukrainian refugee named Anonsky. Oh no, hold on. Aonanishki. Here we go. Aonanishki. We're gonna say that. Is the first person from his country to win an elite sumo tournament. I am not surprised he's the first Ukrainian to win an elite sumo tournament, but whatever. Um, uh, Danilo Yav, oh boy. Yeah. Either way, this dude moved to Japan in 2022, at 18 years old after Russia's invasion, and now competes under his ring name of the word I previously said. So when Russia invaded Ukraine a few years back, this dude left Ukraine and moved to Japan. Now he put on weight, became a sumo wrestler, and won a sumo championship in Japan. I want to see the Lifetime movie of this dude real fast. But it's kind of crazy to see this dude who looks very pasty Caucasian winning the sumo trophy. It's a thing. But yeah, congratulations, Ayal Nanishki, for your championship. Um, Colombian researchers have named what they dub a 13 million year old turtle um, fossil after Shakira. The researchers in Colombia unveiled a 13 million year old uh, fossil of this turtle and have officially named the turtle species Shakira Miss Colombiana in honor of the Colombian singer and superstar Shakira. The fossil includes a complete skull and shell that reveal unique evolutionary traits. So now We've got a turtle whose hips don't lie. A long dormant volcano has erupted in Ethiopia for what scientists believe is the first time in 10,000 years. So now Ethiopia has volcanoes erupting. Um, it's spewing ash across the Red Sea towards Yemen and Oman. The volcano, the Haile Gubi, left neighboring village Afderna covered in dust, but an official said that there are no casualties at this time. A local resident said it felt like a bomb had been thrown with smoke and ash. Ukraine has agreed to a peace deal brokered by President Trump, according to the U.S. officials. More details to come with that. A fire has been raging across Hong Kong through an apartment complex. 13 dead are currently reported, but the fires were still raging through Hong Kong. They've officially also scrapped the premiere of Zootopia 2 that was supposed to take place in Hong Kong this weekend as well. And obviously for this circumstances. Um, Hail covered Brazil this week, causing massive damage and injuring hundreds of people across Brazil. Because also, you don't expect hail in Brazil like that, or at least I don't. But over 200 people were injured in a giant whiteout Brazil hailstorm. In Italy, femicide is now a hate crime, um, which is a thing that just happened this week, is officially voted on. That femicide, if someone is murdered just because they are a female, then it's a hate crime and is automatic life sentence in Italy. Uh, Millie Bobby Brown, 11 from Stranger Things, has officially changed her name to match her husband. She is now officially Millie Bonnie Bon Jovi. If you weren't aware that Millie Bobby married John Bon Jovi's kid, and their actual government name is Bon Jovi. It's like Bong Jovi. So she's now Millie Bonnie Bon Jovi. Bob Odenkirk got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week. The star of Better Call Saul um, showed up alongside Carol Burnett, who starred with him in the final season of Better Call Saul, as well as most of the cast of Better Call Saul and David Cross, his longtime comedy partner. Outside of starring in films like Nobody, uh, Odenkirk also was originally going to be Michael Scott on The Office, but then when Steve Carell's comedy sketch show of the time got canceled, they removed Odenkirk and put in Steve Carell, which they nodded to a little bit later when they found another office branch where Odenkirk was the manager. But yeah, he was almost our Michael Scott. So congratulations to Odenkirk on your celebration there. Hamilton has officially become the fastest show in Broadway history to reach $1 billion in profits, and is now one of four shows in Broadway history um, to be this successful. That puts it alongside The Lion King, Phantom of the Opera, and Wicked as the most successful Broadway show ever seen, and it's the fastest show to reach $1 billion. Congratulations, Lin-Manuel Miranda. And yep, that's our news for the week. That's all I got. It's not a ton of it, but it was also, the world was kind of shut down for a couple days with the holidays, so people weren't really all over the place with it. So let's break out some dice. If you're a Patreon supporter and you're on the flipper level or higher, you should have a book coming your way. I mailed you out a one of the new devotionals, journals. If you're stickers, folks, you got lots of stickers coming your way as well. So I want to say thank you for all your support and encouragement with that. Last Saturday was officially, to my understanding, unless something changes, my last con for the year. So, and got to already start looking for next year. While I'm getting the dice, I'll go ahead and tell you. I can't remember if I said this last week or not, but I thought I was going to be having surgery by the end of this year, but my insurance company is saying no. And they want to see if what another opinion would look like and if other options are available because basically they don't want to pay for really expensive surgery. But I'm kind of getting a runaround with that. And so I don't know what's happening. I'm alive. My body is moderately functional. Go team. Uh, so that's happening. Sorry, let's roll our dice to see what we're reading. Old or the fist is Old Testament. The scissors are New Testament. And paper is the whole Bible. So let's roll and see what we're reading. That is 3 weeks in a row of New Testament. Hey, yo, feeling that. All right. So, New Testament, we need 30 and we'll subtract one. So, we got a D10 and a D20. Let's see what we're reading. Rolled a nat 20. Yeah, hold on. I show Instagram because I can't move my whole laptop. Well, check that out. Bam. Nat 20 on the Bible roll. I don't know if a nat 20 automatically means the Holy Spirit's more involved. Probably not, but still. Nat 20 on the first roll and a 2 on one. So we are on the going to be in the 21st book of the New Testament. Move this guy, move this guy, make some room. All right, now let's see what the 21st book is. Well, if there's 27, I'll just count backwards. 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. First Peter. And so we're going to see how many chapters are in First Peter. I feel like we've done First Peter recently too. All right, so First Peter, there are 5 chapters, so we're going to roll a d6 and see what we get. The sun is extra sunning right now. It's kind of scary. Left the door open. It's real bright. All right, so this is what we land on. First Peter chapter 2. Did we do this already? Let me check my handy dandy other journal. We may have already landed on this. Yes, we actually did. We've already done First Peter chapter 2 in this show, so we're going to roll this dice again and see what else we land on. First Peter chapter 4. There we go. That's what we're on for today. The caption states, "Living for God." I'm gonna grab the my personal Faith and Fandom devotional journal that's got my markings in it. I'll do that. Grab a pencil. All right. And Birch family, I'm going to be sending a probably be waiting on that to connect. Okay. Sorry, Zoom went down for a second. Um, I think we're back. We're gonna see. Okay. All right. But Birch family, I'm going to be sending y'all a bundle of books because it I have to order them directly from Australia to get to y'all. So yeah. All right. So we are going to be in First Peter chapter 4. The date is 11/28. All right. First Peter chapter 4. It says, therefore, since Christ has suffered in his body, arm yourselves with the same attitude, because whoever suffers in the body is done with sin. As a result, they do not live the rest of their earthly lives for evil desires, but rather for the will of God. You have spent enough time in the past doing what pagans chose to do, living in debauchery, lust, drunkenness, orgies, carousing, detestable idolatry. They are surprised that you do not join them in their reckless, wild living, and they heap abuse on you. But they will have to give an account to him who is ready to judge the living and the dead. For this reason, the gospel is preached, even those who are now dead, so that they might be judged according to human standards in regards to the body, but living according to God in regards to the spirit. The end of all things is near. Therefore, be alert and of sober mind, so that you may pray. Love this verse. Above all else, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Let me pull back up my window there. Okay. Sins. Verse 10 says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. If anyone speaks, they should do so as one who speaks the very words of God. If anyone serves, they should do so with the strength that God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To him be the glory and the power forever and ever. Amen. Uh, Suffering for being a Christian. Dear friends, do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal that has come on you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you, but rejoice inasmuch that as you participate in the sufferings of Christ, so that you may be overjoyed when his glory is revealed. If you are glory is revealed. If you are insulted because of the name of Christ, you are blessed. For the Spirit of God and the Spirit of glory and God rests on you. That's a hard one to put into practical belief and application. If you are insulted because of the name of Christ, you are blessed. For the Spirit of God and the glory of God rests on you. If you suffer, it should not be as a murderer or a thief or any kind of criminal or even as a meddler. However, if you suffer as a Christian, do not be ashamed to praise God that you bear his name. For it is the time for judgment to begin with God's household. And if it begins with us, what will the outcome be for those who do not obey the gospel of God? If it is hard for the righteous to be saved, what will become of the ungodly and the sinner? Oof. So then, those who suffer according to God's will should commit themselves to their faithful Creator to continue to do good. Right. So let's go through this chapter real quick before we peace out. All right. Main passage of this focus, I would say, is living for God in action and in suffering. Who wrote it? Peter. Who was it written to? I don't know. Who did Peter write this to? It's to the church at large. It's to the people who are in uh, Pontus, Galatia, Cap, Docia, Asia, and Bithynia. I love that Paul is like, "Hey, I'm gonna write every single one of y'all your own letter." And Peter's like, "I'm gonna cover like 12 regions with one letter." Um, this is to instruct and encourage. And so here's a question I don't know. When was it written? We're gonna find out. When was first Peter written? Most likely between 62 and 64 AD, and it was most likely written in Rome. Okie dokie. Learn new things. Hey Todd, good morning, man. Uh, as it goes on with chapter 4, we're looking for any symbolism present. Um, I don't know that I saw a lot of symbolism in this passage other. Happy belated Thanksgiving, Todd. I don't know that I saw a lot of symbolism other than just comparing uh believers versus unbelievers. Verses that stood out for me, the ones that I highlighted were just a few that but they will have to give an account to him who is ready to judge the living and the dead was one. Uh, one of the standard ones is above all else love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. Um, yeah, those are ones that stand out, as well as if you are insulted because in the name of Christ, you are blessed, for the Spirit of God and glory rest on you. If you suffer for Jesus. And then that verse 18, if it is hard for the righteous to be saved, what will become of ungodly and the sinner? So I'm gonna just make a note of all of those. So First Peter 4, 5, 4, verse 5, 8, 14, and 18. Um, what I kind of learned from this that living for God isn't expected to be easy, but it is expected. How can I apply this in my life? As one of the instructions that he said, use the gifts given for God, love each other deeply, live with accountability in mind, and uh, accountability in mind. Uh, have the right heart during suffering. Was anything hard to understand? I'm actually going to use this uh chunk for let's see. There's a thing that is said that a lot of times we breeze over because we legitimately don't know what the crap it's talking about. Now, let's be honest. It's one of those things that causes debate on some theological circuits. It would be verse 6. So First Peter 1 or 4, First Peter 4, verse 6, where it says this, uh, for this reason the gospel is preached even to those who are now dead, so they might be judged according to human standards in regard to the body, but live according to God and the Spirit. Um, preach to those who are now dead. I've heard people say that it's just simply referencing preach to those who have already died. Like people they were preached to and then they died. I've heard people say that that's a reason to actually go preach to dead people, like preach to bodies. Um, which is why they preach the gospel to funeral homes and stuff like that. Um, but it's a passage that I felt like I really would have loved uh some more clarifying teaching and understanding on it from Peter in that capacity. A pop culture parallel that reflects this passage. Huh. Um, just because of the tone of that I'm reading here, when I hear it, I honestly in my mind go to like the president's speech from Independence Day because I feel like Peter is giving that, hey, it's all about to go down vibe. What's up, Celebrate D20? Day. Memeable Bible verse, I would say, is the um verse 8, First Peter 4:8. The all you need is love. Um, love covers over a multitude of sins. I feel like you can meme that one to death. What song would be the best soundtrack? I'm probably gonna do two. All you need is love from the Beatles, but also Jars of Clay has a song about suffering and martyrdom called This Road. So yeah. Well, that's our devotional reading time. That's our news. That's our updates. I want to take a moment to thank everybody for supporting and encouraging the way that you do. I hope you have a wonderful Black Friday and you continue to be thankful for all that God has going on in your life. Let's take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters, Jessica Luttrell, Jackie Kraft, Kelly Townsend, Alan Wallace, Fab Quack, Rivka and Tristan Birch, and Ty, Dorothy Martin Winston, Michelle Stewart, Miss Lynn Turner, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Jay Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, John Jacobs, Zach Harris, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for joining in, for being encouraging the way that you are. And I hope to see all of you at a con real soon. And I failed because I never did write that verse down. So we're going to do it one more time. Never hurts to actually look up scripture. I'm just amazed I haven't. I think because I keep reading different translations, I always mess it up. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well with you. I hope y'all have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you all at a con real soon.